Hello there, Star Wars fans. I'm Mike, and today I'm excited to discuss with you Dave Filoni's controversial tactics when starting out with a new Star Wars series. Now, we know Filoni has worked on the Clone Wars, Star Wars Rebels, and even more recently, Star Wars Resistance. And Star Wars Resistance hasn't had a great reception in early Season 1. The mid-season trailer does seem to have a lot more people excited, but the truth is the show is off to a rough start. So an interesting question to ask here is, did Dave Filoni do this on purpose? Was this slow start intentional? And I think to answer this question, we need to look at the history of the different shows that Filoni has worked on, starting with the Clone Wars. The Clone Wars movie and then the series Season 1 was not all that well received. In particular, the character Ahsoka Tano is one that we all love, but if we look back, it certainly wasn't love at first sight, and there were a lot of critics of what Dave Filoni did early on with the Clone Wars. The same can be said for Ezra Bridger in Star Wars Rebels. I can still remember people comparing Ezra to Aladdin and simply saying that he was far too young. And I hope this is happening all over again with Kazuda Xiono. Kaz seems to be acting far too silly at the beginning of Star Wars Resistance, and he seems to have a very limited skill set. But the question again is, did Dave Filoni do this intentionally? Does he start these characters off in a place where he knows fans aren't necessarily going to love them right away, so that as they develop and progress, people do come to love them? Or perhaps he adjusts the characters based on fan reactions. I mean, you gotta think about this for a moment. We know that a Star Wars animation show is going to be successful on a certain level. The show will have a ton of exposure just because it has Star Wars in the title, so this allows Dave Filoni to play the long game, starting off with characters that again really don't have the skills they need and slowly developing them. It could also be that as George Lucas is instilled in Dave Filoni and has long been a message in Star Wars in general, and that is don't give in to your fear. Filoni creates what he wants for the long game. He does not fear the show being cancelled in the short term. And Resistance could be a good example of this. Filoni and his team have developed an overly goofy and silly character in Kaz, and now we're slowly starting to see him progress. He's developing his spy skills, and he's becoming less naive. So it could pay off by the end of Star Wars Resistance Season 1. It's just interesting to think that whether or not Dave Filoni and his crew of people maybe went a little too far with Resistance. This anime-style animation and then a very goofy lead character just don't seem to be doing all that well with the audience. But time's gonna tell if they've gone too far. Personally, I have a feeling that Resistance is gonna turn out great by the end of the season. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments below. Does Dave Filoni intentionally have characters start off slow and underdeveloped so that we fall in love with them on their journey throughout these animation shows? I look forward to hearing from you, and as always, thanks for watching Star Wars Speculation, and may the Force be with you.